Well, howdy, Pard. Mountain Man Dave here. Thanks for joining me. I hope you'll saddle up and come along with me as I share some of the knowledge and experience I've gained from over 50 years of traditional black powder shooting, mountain man rendezvous, and life in the Rocky Mountains. Well, howdy, Pard. Today we're going to talk about black powder and black powder substitutes. What makes your muzzleloader go bang? Stick with me to the end, and I'll tell you why I look like I tangled with a mama grizzly. Recently, I've had some questions from subscribers, and I've had some pretty good online conversations with folks about how to get started in black powder, what to shoot, what kind of muzzleloader to get started with, and what kind of black powder, et cetera, et cetera. This is a video put together for those folks that are just getting started. And if you are an old graybeard and you've been around for a while, maybe this will be a reminder of something you might have forgot. Anyway, let's get started. Black powder is classified by the ATF as an explosive, and black powder substitutes are classified as a propellant. And that's why you can't buy black powder at most stores. Like you go into K-Bella's or Shields or some of those, I don't believe any of those carry black powder, but they do carry black powder substitutes like Pyrodex, 777, some of those others. So that's why you can buy the substitutes in the store, but you can't buy black powder in the store, some kind of ATF regulations and whatnot. If you order black powder online, which you can order it online, I recommend rather than buying 1 or 2 cans of black powder, buy it in bulk. I think a case of it is 25 cans and whatever the price is. But if you order online, whether it's 1 can or a case, you're going to have to pay hazmat fee. And that fee can range anywhere from $35 to $50 per delivery plus shipping. So it can get a little spendy. In the past, I've ordered the black powder by the case, and a few other shooters have gone in on the order with me, and that makes it a little more affordable. If you go to a Mountain Man Rendezvous, or if you have a muzzle loading club or Mountain Man club near you, a lot of them will have some of the black powder on hand, and you can sometimes purchase through them. So that's a resource that you may be able to find locally rather than getting on the interweb and ordering it from an online trading post. Black powder is categorized by granule size. 1F would be your largest granule. Then you have 2F, which is a little finer. 3F would be a little finer than that. 4F would be even finer, almost a consistency of table salt on 4F. And then there's another granulation, and I can't remember the designation for it, but it's almost like talcum powder. It's a flash powder. 1F black powder is primarily used in large bore rifles and cannons. So if you're shooting a smooth bore musket, maybe 58 caliber or bigger, then you might want to use 1F. 2F is for 45 to 58 caliber, and 3F is pistol caliber, 45 caliber, 32, 36 caliber, and so on. Now, all that being said, that's just a general rule of thumb. Get some 2F or 3F for your rifle, and depending on what caliber, and see what works best for you. You know, I've shot a lot of 2F powder over the years, and I primarily now shoot strictly 3F powder. I shoot a 50 and a 54, and I find that the 3F powder burns just a little hotter and a little faster, and just a little cleaner, I think, in my muzzle loader. So I like the 3F versus 2F. But you experiment. That's part of the fun of a muzzle loader, is you experiment with what powder granulation works best for you. So I've got some examples here. And so this is GoX. GoX has had some manufacturing issues with the company being sold and having a fire and some other issues. So I don't know if GoX is commercially available all over like it has been in the past. But you'll see like 3F designation on GoX, or 4F. And 4F is a priming powder, primarily used in flintlocks. You'd use the 4F in your priming pan. You could certainly use 3F if that's all you had. This is an old can of 2F, and I keep the cans because I'm a sentimental feller. This is Shoots, and 3F. I bought Schutzen when I couldn't get any Go-X for a while. Schutzen works great. It burns a little bit dirtier, I think, than the Go-X. A lot of guys like Swiss or Old Einsford. I've never shot Swiss or Old Einsford. I hear great things about it. It's, I think if you rated powder on a scale, Swiss would probably be top, Old Einsford's next, I think Schutzen, and then Go-X as number 4. But you shoot what's available. If you can get black powder, I like to shoot real black powder. I love the smell of black powder in the morning. But if you can't get black powder, you can always shoot a black powder substitute. This is Pyrodex. Pyrodex Granulations is rated in RS, which means rifle or shotgun. If it had a letter P right there, P as in pistol, why, then that's for your pistol. This is what it came in originally. I've got a can of Pyrodex from 1980, I think, when this first came out, and it's still mostly full. I don't shoot a lot of Pyrodex. I found with some of the black powder substitutes, I have more frequent hang fires, and I don't like that. And a hang fire is when you pull the trigger, the hammer pops the cap, pop, and there's just a slight delay before the discharge of that rifle. I don't like that. There was a powder called, I think it was Pioneer powder, and it was supposed to be the cleanest black powder substitute out there. And I shot a pound of that, and I had more misfires and hang fires than you can shake a stick at. You notice that's not on my table anymore because I don't shoot that stuff. Now, some people like 777, and there are some other black powder substitutes out there. If they work for you, wonderful. If you've got them available, if they're available for you, shoot them. Shoot what you can get your hands on. That's the thing. I like black powder. If I didn't have black powder, I'd shoot Pyrodex. But that's just me. Again, rule of thumb, general information. You do what works in your world. Now, as you may or may not know, black powder and Pyrodex are highly corrosive. After you shoot your muzzleloader, you've got to clean your muzzleloader. If you let it sit around for a day or two, you're going to get corrosion. And depending on how humid the climate is where you live, you can get that rust and corrosion really quickly. So I highly recommend after you shoot, clean it. You can clean it at the range. I've got videos that'll show just exactly how you do that. I'll put a link down in the description on the video of how to clean at the range, or you can clean at home. There'll be a link in the description on how to clean at home as well. Hey, if you're finding this information helpful, why don't you hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you get notified of upcoming videos as well. I sure appreciate it, pard. I touched briefly on the corrosiveness of black powder, and so you got to store those guns after you clean them or as you take them to and from the range. Because of the corrosiveness of black powder, you want to take them to and from the range and store them carefully so that they don't get corrosion and rust, because they will rust and corrode real fast. One thing I've done to prevent some of that is I keep my rifle in a gun sock or a wool gun scabbard. Now, I made that scabbard myself. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you'd be interested in a video on how to make a gun sheath like this or a gun scabbard like this. Nice thing about the wool is it breathes. The gun won't rust or corrode in there. The wool helps shed the water off, and it looks period correct. One of the ways I would not carry a muzzleloader or store it is in one of these modern hard cases with the eggshell interior like this. The reason I wouldn't do that is because of the corrosive nature of black powder. I've seen more than one gun put in a case like that and transported home an hour or two away. And when the shooter got home, he opened it up and there was already rust starting to occur on that gun. So I don't use those. They hold the moisture in. It allows that corrosive nature of the black powder to begin to work against your firearm. So I lean against those. I like the wool gun sheath or gun sock or a leather gun sheath or a natural material. I've seen some gun cases that are a more breathable material. So a little ounce of prevention and a ton of rust cure. This will be a second place choice for me in lieu of the wool gun sleeve. But again, if you're interested, leave a comment below and I'll show you how you can make one of these. We'll go through making a pattern, show you how we can make one of these out of an old wool blanket, or if you got some buckskin laying around, you could do it out of buckskin. Now, if you use a black powder substitute versus black powder, you measure the powder exactly the same. If you normally shoot 70 grains of black powder, you would shoot 70 grains of Pyrodex substitute. Again, I don't know about the other substitutes, but as far as Pyrodex goes, it's a 1-for-1 substitute. 70 grains black powder, 70 grains Pyrodex, boom, you're off to the races. Well, I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you learned something new. Well, like I said, I was going to tell you how I ended up looking like I got in a battle with a she-grizzly. Well, I had a skin cancer cut off my nose and, kind of cut off my nose to spite my face. Made me look like heck for a few days. I wasn't going to shoot a video because I felt like I looked kind of rough. But anyway, I think it's a good reminder to always wear a hat when you're outside, put on some good sunscreen, and prevent those skin cancers. Thanks for joining me, Pard. Happy trails, and as always, black powder matters.